operate.
Okay. All right. So while we touched upon India and the U.S., the India-U.S. nuclear deal led by Prime Minister Manmohan Singh was a landmark step in India-U.S. bilateral relations. What do you see as the long-term prospects for India-U.S. relations, especially in terms of strategic partnerships? You've touched upon it a little bit, but if you could elaborate.
So there are two elements. The first is the defense cooperation, which is important, and I think we do a good job there. But then the second is what I touched on just now, which is China has placed in front of us a vision for production and prosperity in a non-democratic environment. Right? What is our response? Are we simply going to just sit there and say, okay, China can be the producer of the world and we're not going to do anything? Or do we have a response? What is our response to the Belt and Road? Right? I don't see one. So to me, that's really where US and India cooperation needs to go. How can we provide a democratic vision of production, of manufacturing that actually works to the rest of the world? And I think both countries bring different things to the table. And I think there's a huge opportunity there.
Okay. So just staying on India and US, is there a political consensus within India on deepening strategic ties with the US?
Yes, I mean, I don't see a big diversion. I don't see Mr. Modi diverting very much from our approach with the US, and I don't see ourselves changing direction very much from what he's doing. So I see continuity there. I think everybody on both sides of the equation, everybody does accept the fact that the India-US relationship is key for both countries.
Okay. One more on the US. With the backdrop of an increasingly assertive China, the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict, and the crisis in Gaza, how do you view the role of the United States in global affairs?
I think you're a very powerful democracy. You believe in certain ideas on freedom, on democratic participation, and I think that's important for the world. I don't like a world where democracy were to disappear, were to weaken, right? So I think there you have a very important role to play. But standing on this side, I see challenges coming that, frankly, you've not faced before. And I don't think it's going to be that easy. The central question is, how do you challenge China on production and value addition, right? China's strength comes from that. Yes, China has a strong military, but the military strength comes from that ability to produce. It comes from Americans buying Chinese product. It comes from Indians buying Chinese product. And what are you going to do about it? Because we can't carry on this trajectory. Certainly I can talk for India. We simply cannot go forward without building a manufacturing base, without involving large numbers of our people, creating jobs for them. So for us, it's, we're not a Singapore where we can say, now we'll do services and everything will be fine. We can't do it. We have over 1 billion people, and we have to give them an answer. And that answer can only come from production.
Okay. One on national security. With India facing complex security challenges, particularly along its external borders, with 2 hostile nuclear-armed neighbors, as seen in incidents like Galwan in 2020, what's your perspective on ensuring a comprehensive national security policy? How should India navigate this volatile geopolitical environment? And you've spoken about
very carefully.
You've spoken about the Ladakh border
without
before.
making too many mistakes. No, I think, look, the world is changing. There's a huge increase in China's power. China is our neighbor. We have a relationship with the United States. So we are right in the middle of all this geopolitical change. And so we have to have a long-term vision, strategic vision, and it shouldn't be one tactical move after another tactical move. It should be, okay, this is how we're thinking about it for the long term. This is the basic foundation, and we're going to walk on this path. I think the central elements of that, from our perspective, have to be the democratic idea. Have to be the central ideas that our freedom fighters and Mahatma Gandhi and others fought for, which is peace, non-violence, cooperation, harmony.
All right, but it's difficult to do with an aggressive neighbor.
Yeah, but India's pretty smart at doing these type of things. I mean, we can maneuver. I'm confident about that. But it's important that to do this properly, you have to have a very good sense of who you are and what your own nature is.
Right.
And that's where I don't agree with the current dispensation. When you imagine yourself to be something you're not, that's when the problems come, right? India is a very plural country. India is an open country. India is not one idea. India is multiple ideas. And when you imagine yourself to be something you're not, that's when all your strategic problems start.
Okay. So I've just gotten a bunch.
I mean, we are weakening our biggest asset, right? Our biggest strategic asset, India's biggest strategic asset, which is our democracy, which is just not India's asset, it is the world's asset, because it's so big, it's a global public good. It's being attacked in India, right? And that is the foundation, that's the foundation of all our strategic imperatives.
Right. So you say, democracy is being attacked, and I've had this conversation with Mr. Pitroda, that the Indian voter is very resilient and very knowledgeable. It's not, and if you see the election results, does it give you more hope for democracy in India?
Yeah, it does. Look, but
okay.
It's not good enough to say that the Indian voter is resilient and knowledgeable, because the Indian voter is informed by a whole set of structures, right? So if we don't have a level playing field, the voter might be very knowledgeable and and resilient. It doesn't really matter. We fought an election with our bank accounts frozen, right? Now, I don't know. I don't know any democracy where that's happened. Maybe, that type of thing happens in Syria or used to happen in Iraq. But we literally sat during our election and spoke to our treasurer, and he says, well, we have no money, right? Now, you can have a resilient voter. You still need to run campaigns. You still need to have conversations. You still need to have meetings, right? I've got 20 plus cases with me. I'm the only person in Indian history to get a prison sentence for defamation, right? We have a chief minister who's in jail right now. So, one way of saying it is, yes, the Indian voter is very resilient, and he stands like a rock. Absolutely, he does. But the Indian voter requires an architecture to work on, which is not there.
But would you say that Indian democracy is resilient and it can't be broken?
Well, I can say to you that Indian democracy for the last 10 years was broken.
But it's on an upward trajectory.
It's fighting back, but it was broken. I have seen the government of Maharashtra just being taken away from us. So I've seen it with my own eyes. I've watched it as our legislators have been bought and hooked off and suddenly became BJP legislators. So Indian democracy has been under attack, has been very badly weakened, and now it's fighting back. And I'm confident that it will fight back.
Stay ahead with our cutting-edge news app. Instantly access the latest shorts in just 1 minute and breaking news in just 50 words. Download now for a smarter, faster news experience.